Hello, everyone. This is Han. Now, I'm going to go over more objects in this video and detail or decipher their hieroglyphics in detail. Most of these objects are stele. These first few are from the Walters Art Museum. So these are stele that I found via their online collection search. So that's where the images and the hieroglyphic translations come from. So the first object that we're going to look at is the funeral stele of Neferkabit. So you have this first register here, and this is the top register. And then these are what the hieroglyphics translated say. So an offering that the king gives an implied to Nubis, who is upon his mountain, the Wet Lord of the Necropolis. And then we go down to this next register here, and that's where we see Neferkabit himself here. So that's who commissioned and paid for this stele. So we're going to start with this register here. You start to read it from the right because that's the direction that all the animals are facing. So in all his places, offerings to the sole royal ornament, the revered one. And then, like I said, this is Neferkabit himself here. So this is his name and hieroglyphics here. So Neferkabit. The next object is also from the Walters Art Museum, and it's also a stele, and it's the funerary stele of Tembu. So I'm just going to scroll down a little bit more. This is the full stele here, and then I'm going to zoom into different parts of this. So on the top here, on this first register, you see the husband and wife. So I think that Tembu is the husband. So that's him here, and then he's with his wife, and then that may be their daughter here, and then some of their children down here with the hieroglyphics telling us their names and their occupations for some of them as well. And then the sort of more formulaic stock part of the stele that has the offering formula. So the first chunk that we're seeing is pointing to his daughter, Mehu. So this is it blown up. And on the stele, it's this chunk here. So this chunk of hieroglyphs is talking about their daughter here. So his daughter, Mehu. And then I think this is Tembu's name again, and it might actually be his full title, superintendent. So this might be, I think this is the superintendent part, Tembu. So again, it's talking about the husband here. So the question marks are parts of the text where I think I bracketed it up correctly, but I'm not 100% sure because, as I said, I'm still learning hieroglyphics myself. And then this chunk of hieroglyphs here is telling us a little bit more about his wife. So that's her here. So his wife, mistress or lady of the house, Ten Ani. So it gives that common title that we see in a lot of stele, lady or mistress of the house, and then her name as well. So as I've said in other videos, these stele are one of the ways that we can get biographical data about women who actually lived and died in ancient Egypt. And then this is a zooming up of the next register of the stele. So basically the sort of second register down here. So it's a zooming in of these hieroglyphs up here. So we have this first one here. So we know for this, I think I was pretty sure this is one because this is his daughter, and then I'm pretty sure that's Sen it Nefer. And then 2 is daughter Hanut, so I think that's another his daughter Hanut. And then you go to this part, which overall stele, we're now moving to these gentlemen here and the hieroglyphs here. So we have his son, Captain Teti, and then another, his son, captain of the ship, Temis, sorry, this is, yeah, Temis, because then this is his son, Captain Tai or Tei, and then his son, think this is the herdsman, and then this is the Amos. But again, that's why for this part you see that question mark there, because this is where I got a little bit unsure of myself. And then this last zooming in image looks at the offering formulae part of the stele, so this chunk down here. So that's where I zoomed in. So an offering which the king gives, an implied to Osiris, Lord of Osiris, great God, Lord of Abydos. So this actually, this hieroglyph is that part of the great, is the great part of the great God. So there should be a further red line in that chunk there as well. That he may give invocation offerings light of oxen, fowl, an implied and every good and pure thing on which the God lives. Again, I'm not sure how this chunk of hieroglyphs fits into the full thing, so that's why there's the question mark there. To the Ka of the superintendent, Tambu, his wife, mistress of the house, Tan Ayet, repeating life, mistress of honor. Then this is another funeral stele, so it's 22.155, also from the Walters Art Museum. So here we have, this is just to sort of see the tail legs of the couple that's on the stele here. And I just, for this, focused on the offering formula part of the stele. That's what I zoomed in on. So this is that HTP, DJ, or Neswit. So it's that an offering which the king gives to part that we've seen in the other steles, but it's just a little bit faded here. So you can just sort of see part of that, an offering. And then this, I think, is that king, or that Nesu, and then some of those other hieroglyphs are faded here. So this part is that an offering which the king gives to. And then Osiris, Lord of Osiris, an implied and the gods, lords, lords of eternity, so that they may give, and then you go into this next one here, being glorious in heaven, before Ra or Re, powerful. And this is again where I'm not fully sure. So I think this is powerful on Earth before Geb, justified, or unapplied and justified in the necropolis before Osiris. And that actually, I think that last hieroglyph should be with the Osiris there as well. Because then this is the cold water with wine and milk, receiving, I think this is the receiving food offerings, but that might also extend to this chunk here, because this is JRTT, and then this is that SSP hieroglyph. Moving on to the last one, and then NPW SBW dash DFAW in row setu, coming, I think this is the coming and going part here, because this is the lords, or in the presence of the lords, following the Ka of the two lands every day, I think, to the, and then it cuts off. This is not a stele, but it is a scarab. So the Egyptians looked at the scarab beetle as sort of one of their spiritually significant animals. So a lot of their amulets and objects are in this scarab shape, and this is where, or one of the artifact classes that we find the titles of different rulers on. So this piece is an example of that. It's a scarab of Seshe, so one of the kings of Egypt. So you see on the side that's facing towards us for this piece, you have his name. So you have son of Ra, She, an implied may he live forever. And then this is from the National Museums in Liverpool. So again, this is from their collection, their online collection search database. And this is a stele fragment. So this was once a full stele, but they just have this fragment now. So this is the register that we're looking at. So this is probably the person who commissioned the stele. So this is the ka of the servant of the place of truth. And then these registers may give us at least part of this gentleman's name, but the reading is uncertain. So that's why those are not deciphered. This chunk is not deciphered on this particular video. The Metropolitan Museum of Art also has an online collection database that you can search through, and most of their Egyptian artifacts are on there as well. So that's where I got this stele. So this is a full stele. It's the stele of Senu. And again, that's where I got images and then the hieroglyphic translations as well. So this is the top part of the stele. So again, sort of more formulaic, or at least part of this is the more formulaic and kind of rote elements of the stele. So you have what I think is meant to be read as register number 1 here, which is words spoken by the royal scribe of recruits Senu, and then you have 2, so I think what's meant to be registered 2 here. So that's what's labeled. I'm just going to click for easier viewing. I'm going to bring this down here as well. So I don't have to keep scrolling up here. So I think this is that SNW DJ.N, which is I have given, and then J capital A, or what is R capital A, which is Alf dot WM, which I think is this, because this is that hieroglyphic J, A, and then M. So I think that's homage. And then we have what I think is this next set of registers here. So what I've labeled number, or what I've put as number 4. So here, which is I think 5 as well. So that is that B capital H, or capital A capital H, so before you, and I'm putting it as before you because I know that TN is a pronoun, that one of the ways it can be translated is you, which I think is here. So again, these I'm not fully sure of this number 4 here. And then number 5, which I think I actually mislabeled here. So this is, I think, meant to be number 5, because this HTTP, I think this is HTTP dot TN. So now we go, as it says, now we go to the top left. So we are in here. So what I've labeled 5 should actually, you're going to come along with me, should actually be 6. So this here. So this is jms.tj. So this chunk here. And then we go down to this NTR Ayin Alf, which is the great god. So this is where we have Esti, the great god. And then NBPT or P.T. So that's the Lord of Heaven. So Lord of Heaven. And I might, I'm just going to bring that again down here. Actually, I'm going to go one more time. Okay. This just helps us, again, so I don't have to scroll up and down so much. So what I've labeled number 6 here is actually number 7, and it's this chunk here. So we have HP, so HP dot Y, J M N T, and that is happy ruler of the West. And then what's labeled 7 here, so number 7 should actually be 8, and it's this number 7 on the register. So we have N underlined TR dot W, which in this case is the great gods, and then this JM dot JW, I think that's an elliptical HT, is the who follow part. So the great gods who follow, and then what's labeled 8 here should actually, I think, be 9. So then we have Wasar, which is Osiris. So Osiris, every day in, and then this last one is the Duat or the Netherworld. So this is the Duat or the Netherworld. So I'm just going to so we're going to leave that the way that it is for right now. We're just going to move on to the rest of the stele clay. So it's called the stele clay of Senu because Senu, this gentleman here, is the person that actually commissioned the stele clay and paid for it. So those are the chunks that we're going to decipher now. So you know to start over on this side of the register because that's the way all the animals are facing. They're all facing towards the left. So that's how I know I start with this chunk of text and end here. And so the sort of first register or line 1, we have underlined D and regular D, so the snake, which you can see here. The pieces of text that are like this, these are from a website that's called Hieroglyphics Step by Step, and I've talked about that site, I think, in other videos as well, but that teaches you hieroglyphics, and I'll put the link to that site in this in the description box for this video as well. So on the Metropolitan site, what you will see is you won't see, for a lot of the Egyptian objects, you won't see the full hieroglyphic translation. You'll see the transliteration, which is what this is. So if you want an extra challenge, you can change those into full hieroglyphs. But that's why going forward, you'll see these sorts of things every once in a while, because this is from the step-by-step hieroglyphics site, and it's from their dictionary tab. So this is that underlined D and regular D is the same word as this. And that is, or can be translated as say, speak, utter, recite, tell, or bid. So in this case, for this translation, it's the spoken part of the word spoken. Words spoken by, so that's what the M they, or words spoken by and then this chunk again down here is this bit up here, but it's in its full hieroglyphic form. So lector, priest. So words spoken by lector, priest, and then you have that person's name. Pa Wei. So that's what this chunk here is. That's the Pa Wei, which in the hieroglyphics is this here. So words spoken by lector, priest, Pa Wei. To, there's that N, the gods. Go down again. So now we're on this one. So we're on 2. Who are the retainers of Wenifer? So who are the retainers of Wenifer? So this is that same word here. And then dj.tn. So this is may you grant. So dj.tn.htp is this chunk here. So may you grant that the Ba, or one of the aspects of the soul of, so we're down here, the royal scribe, I think this is the Senu, so in the hieroglyphics, this ba, same as that word, and this scribe that you see here is the same. So this is the same as this word. So now we're on to register 4. So this chunk here. So again, this S and B dot F, that SN is the same as that. So think this is the joining his enclosure, maybe. Because these F's are the pronouns. So this chunk here is basically the joining his enclosure of eternity part. Because this is SNB dot T dot F. So the F is the pronoun meaning his or him. So that's the SNB dot F. So his or his, him or his or him, something. And then you have that X and M dot F, which is that. So X and M dot F again. So another pronoun. And then I think this is the regular HW T dot F. So again, another pronoun. And then N dot T. And then this is that DT, which is that, or this same word. So it's can be translated as eternity or forever. So that chunk down here. So again, because I'm still learning hieroglyphs, I don't know for sure the details of where these particular chunks come within this register, but I know that this is the register that is the joining his enclosure of eternity chunk. And then you have number 5. So this here, which this is, it says X, but really this is elliptical H. So elliptical H and M dot F. So again, another pronoun. So here, T with an ion, G, S, S, WTQ, QB, dotted H. So this chunk here is the and enjoying bread and half breads. And then you have the next chunk, so 6. So here, that's TW, and then I think TW again. So this chunk here, and then that N dot F, which is N, one of the ways it can be translated is for, so for him, because that F is another pronoun. So fresh water. So this chunk is fresh water being poured for him. And this actually might be that water part. Um, and then you go to 7 or register 7. So this register here. So this is then where we get on the days of the New Year's festival through the favor. And then of every god. So an implied of or implied of every god, and then an implied and. Sorry, guys. And every goddess. This is another stele from the Metropolitan, and this is the stele of the Stuart Mentu Woser. So this is that top part that has a lot of the sort of rote formulas and kind of the stock offering formula as well. So we have this first part here. So again, you know to read this first line, you start at the right and then end at the left because that's the way all animals are facing. And I think we're actually going to do this video or this object maybe in a later video. So we're going to end this video now and I'll go over this object in a later one. Hopefully you guys learn some cool stuff. And hopefully you'll watch more of my other videos as well. Bye.